This is the way we wash our grapes, wash our grapes, wash our grapes. This is the way we wash our grapes in Brushy Creek Ranch. Treeowl wine.
Yeah, Gary.
In progress.
I've learned.
Step 2, we picked yesterday.
You can put
This is taking them off of the stems and washing all the crud off of them. And now we're going to get ready to chop them all up. See y'all later. This is the way we chop our grapes, chop our grapes, chop our grapes. This is the way we chop our grapes at the Treeowl Wine Vineyard. This Vitamix right here kicks butt, y'all. Ready, set, go. In here, y'all.
Feet stomping with the feet. I don't know how many.
Yum. Look at that grape juice, y'all. Alright.
Up into 9 equal buckets.
9 equal buckets.
Yes.
So we spread the love, and our 3rd generation vintner, Jaime Trial, has his method down pat.
Ooh, there's 9. There's 9. So I gotta get these even.
We're still chopping. We're chopping on the last bucket of grapes right here. These are clean and ready to chop into mash. And the mash goes into the Camden sanitized bucket. The Camden, by the way, is a antibacterial that is food grade. So keeps everything sanitary. Little by little, get it right. Isn't that a beautiful color? Thick and beautiful. Leaves a coating on the measuring cup. That's what you want to see.
And on the floor.
And on the floor and on your hands, and it might sting a little, but and here we go with our sugar into the boiling pot, making a little simple sugar. Gotta feed these grapes, you know. They need feeding. Sugar's gonna do it.
Got a special stir too.
Oh yeah, look at that. Let's have a look-see in there. Make it dissolve. That's all we want to do is just dissolve it so it can mix into the mash. We're all through making mash now. Tracy's begun the cleanup, so we're moving on. Awesome.
It's gonna get thick pretty quick.
It will get thick. Here comes Brian. Got the last of the mash going.
I got the whole shelf full.
Okay.
Measure it out even. Vinter Treeowl.
Alright, Gary, eyeball that and see if they look even to you. Right? Eyeball this and see if they all look even.
These two boys work so well together. All right, I'll be back when we add the sugar. Hang on. All right, here's our melted sugar. Our stirrer did a grand old job of watching the pot ball. No, you don't want it to ball. That's very important because you do not want to cook the grapes when you add the simple syrup. So you want the water heated enough to dissolve the sugar, and it's a labor of love because you have to be patient since you're not balling it.
She's a documentarist.
Ryan is overseeing the procedure. Jaime Trial is the backup man. So every bucket, of which there are 9 buckets of mash.
Yeah.
10 buckets of mash. We made 10. Stand corrected. So this year, Labor Day weekend 2020, we have 10 buckets of Mustang Grape mash. It is a lot of love going in here, y'all. Go.
This is the Camden tablets that have to go in with the sugar on the first doings, I guess. So I'm not sure why we have 3 per bucket. I'm sure he's measured it out, but
Yes, absolutely. Our 3rd generation vintner is got this method absolutely down pat. So Miss Tracy is crushing the Camden tablets so that they will dissolve easier in the mash. And this is a very important step. Simply done. Use the back of a spoon on a plate, put it in your little cup, and then you've got your 3 tablets measured out. It's rocket science, but the Treeowl wine is worth every minute.
yes, it is.
Now, Jenny's putting a little water to fill
Do I need to stir that?
as we wait for the yeast. Joseph will do a little stir in there, get the Camden mixed up. We want every bucket full, so we add a little water. This is precious
Not completely full.
Cow Creek water. Not completely full, no.
In each 10 of these little cups, I have 3 packages of yeast. This is EC-111811 yeast.
Special.
And 3 of them in each one of these cups, and I'm going to put some warm water in here and dissolve them.
Warm water. Yeast loves warm water. It helps to dissolve it and thus proof the yeast to make sure we have good live culture before we add it to the mash.
Ooh, smells like yeast.
Well, we can make bread or we can make wine. And right now, our Vinter says, wine it is. All right, now we're gonna stir and dissolve, stir and dissolve.
Cheers.
A lot of love in here, y'all, a lot of love. Our yeast is
So
proof,
Gary, does that go
Dissolve.
here in Texas?
and now every bucket, stick your cup in there and wash it out.
You just
Get it all, baby. There you go. Now stirrer, have you stirred the bottom?
I did.
All right. You know, I'm checking on y'all.
It's already working.
Woo! Look at them bubbles. And there goes the yeast. That's right. Wrench those cups out good and get every morsel of yeast in there. We want this wine to be working.
Hang on.
We've got our stirrer who is vigilant with every bucket. For that, we are so thankful. Yes. All the yeast. 3 packages per bucket, remember, as I said, which equals approximately 3 tablespoons per bucket. The sugar is in, and it is already working, y'all. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that color. Oh my gosh. Makes your taste buds stand up.
Gotta give it space.
10 buckets of yeast. Every bucket. Now that's just from the sugar. The stirrer, Mr. Joseph gets that stirred down, and our Vinter gets the yeast put in. And now we're gonna let it cook. Every little thing is doing its job. A lot of love in here, y'all.
Okay, this is day 3 of making wine. And I just wanted to show everybody that every day you have to stir the wine in the bucket. Just like so. On the first day and the second day, there's about 1 to 2 inches of, I don't know what you call it, I guess seeds and stems and skins that come up to the top, but they've now gone down to the bottom. But if you look real close, you can see that it's bubbling. But every day you have to stir it.
2 times. 2 times a day.
Twice a day you have to stir it. Now, before I stir this, if you look, you can see the bubbles coming up. It's got a pretty purple color, but there's a lot of seeds and trash in there that's going to have to be strained out in a couple of days. On day 7, actually, that's when we strain it and go to the second fermentation process. That's when we'll add more sugar and then put it in the carboys or the demijohns after it's been strained. But everything's looking good. I'll take one more off so you can see. Okay. There you go. All right, here we got Joseph putting a little Camden solution in the carboys so we can kind of kill any germs that couldn't possibly be in there before we put the wine in. We got our carboys all cleaned and sanitized
With the Camden tablets.
with the Camden tablets and an water solution. I have a siphon hose here we're going to take the liquid out of the buckets. Hopefully this will work.
Holy cats.
And now
That's slicker now shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty slick.
Oops. Sorry.
He said it, by the way.
Can't have the brown guy around when people are recording.
Joseph.
You have to pour the remainder in with the funnel?
Yeah, with that little funnel.
Alright. I've done a lot of gas stealing. I mean siphoning.
Okay, these are the airlocks, and all it does is it traps water in here, and there's a maximum line that you have to fill it to, so you don't want to overfill it. But you put water in there, and it keeps the foreign yeast from entering the grape, the wine. As you can see, it's already starting to push down on this one and push up on this one. And as it starts to ferment, you're going to start getting bubbles, hopefully. And that's the way the airlocks work. These are called airlocks.
Go.
Okay, this is about day 14. The wine has been in these carboys and with the airlocks on them, and they've been working really good. They've started to slow down to hardly any air bubbles coming out. So today we're doing what they call is racking. If you look down at the bottom, you can see on every one of these bottles there's sediment that comes down, and what that is dry or dead yeast and some of the solids from the grapes and the stems and stuff that goes to the bottom. So we're trying to clarify it, and to do that you take a siphon hose and drop it down just above the sediment and start sucking out the wine into another carboy that has been sanitized. All of this has been sanitized with Camden tablet solution, and we're going to try and do this and clear up the wine. We may even rack it again before we bottle it for the final time. So that's called racking.
Here we are at the Treeowl winemaking process. We're at the bottle cleaning part, almost ready to button this up. There's sediment down in the bottom of these bottles from use last year, and so we soak them and then use a long neck bottle brush there to get that sediment out. It works easier if the consumer rinses the bottle immediately upon use. And Jamie over here now.
All right.
Here we go with the bottling
I'm
process.
going to take off the airlock. And explain how this siphon thing works. This has a little thing on the end so you don't suck up the stuff on the bottom.
Sediment.
Sediment, and it goes in here, down to the bottom. And there's several different ways to start a siphon. A lot of people fill this up with liquid and hold it up high on both ends and drop one in and down at the same time. Some people suck on this. Is not real sanitary, but they say if you drink a swig of vodka, it kills the germs. On this thing here, this is how you fill the bottles, and there's a little valve here that's a check valve, so that when you drop it in the bottle and you push down, it lets the liquid come through, and when the bottle is full, you lift up and it stops.
Ha! Technology.
Now, the way I like to start my siphon, usually I put this down where that check valve is engaged. Come on then. Push it all the way down so that check valve.
Easy.
And voila. Of course, now you have to have this down below the liquid level so that your siphon works. Done. So that's ready to be corked.
Put some
Hot dog.
Here, I don't know if video of this or not, but these are the bottles that have this little rubber gasket that goes on, like so.
These are great for immediate consumption. We don't have to worry about going through the corking
that corked.
process.
But the way we do it, we get this little corker machine, and you load it like a gun, and
Yeah.
like so, and that bottle is about ready to fall down over there. It's corked. Now this put it down with those. It's a house wine because it's got
Okay.
some of the sediment on it.
Okay, do that again because I got interrupted here.
Okay. Put it down on the ground because it gives you more leverage. You put the cork in there and drop it down. That's it.
Let me see that cork. There it is.
They
Corked.
make two different kind of corks. This is a synthetic, and Tracy wanted it because it doesn't peel off like the normal
Doesn't break off?
natural cork does.
You know why?
I prefer the natural cork because it doesn't leave that little dent in
Dimple.
there like that,
Yeah.
which doesn't really hurt anything, but it's aesthetics. They don't look too pretty. What he said.
All righty.
And it doesn't go down all the way like a normal cork would. They'll hurt it.
All right, folks.
Let's
All
clear
right,
the
here we
table.
are
Now.
at the last step.
Not the
We've
last
got,
step.
well, almost. We've got the tree wrapper on there. What did you call it, Tracy?
Sprinkler.
And this kind of seals it all up, makes it fresh, professional. You know, we have a lot of technology these days. I don't know what Grandpa Treeowl or Great-Grandpa Treeowl did in their time,
They drank it.
but this being the 4th generation in Texas, we now have technology. Well, everyone, here we are with the finished product, the official Treeowl wine, vented by Jaime Trial and his little helpers, Gary, Susie, and Tracy, and a few others in the beginning. And don't forget, there was Jimmy Ray and Susan who grew the grapes in the first place. So I'm going to zoom in on the label here because this label was designed by Gary and we wanted it to kind of tell a story. How this is a true 4th generation Texas homemade wine. So 174 bottles out of this batch for 2020. and we are tickled red. So I hope you enjoy this process and enjoy the wine with us, and stay tuned for 2021, y'all. It's going to be a good year.